Tuning sound systems by ear is great, it's a great experience, but we run into a couple of problems in that our ears are a little inconsistent. So what the pros do is the pros use software and measurement to give them hard data while tuning sound systems. And if you can tune a sound system by ear, it's really not that hard to add this process into your workflow. Hey, welcome to Offshore Audio. I'm Andrew, I'm a live sound engineer, and I'm here to help you mix better live events. So in this video, I'm going to give you a simple process to help you get started measuring and tuning systems using data. Before you start EQing anything, you probably want to check out my 3-step guide to perfect EQ. It's just a PDF guide that you can take with you to any gig, print it out, have it with you, have it on your phone, and it's going to outline my 3 steps that I take every time to make great EQ decisions. So have a read of that as well before you start implementing this. Let's dive in. So let's talk about setting up. This is by no means an exhaustive tutorial, but it's going to get you started. And by starting, you're going to develop your skills quicker and you're going to understand better what you're doing. I'm using Smart, which is an industry standard version of this software, but you can use Open Sound Meter, which as of right now is pay what you want. So I recommend that you check that out. I'll leave a link down below. I'll leave a link to a video up here you can check out, but I recommend that you don't start with Smart, actually. You're going to need a few things to get going, right? First of all, you're going to need a measurement microphone. You're going to need a sound card. You're going to need a laptop or some kind of computer with you. You're going to need a mixer so you can get the sound out of the speakers. And you're going to need cables to connect all of that together. Now, the exact cables that you need are going to vary based on your setup, but I will leave a link below to the hardware that I'm using to make these measurements. Now, the way this works is basically we do a comparison, right? I'm going to send pink noise out of this mixer and out of the speakers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the pink noise directly from the mixer into my sound card and also out of the speakers and then into my microphone and into my sound card. So what we can get the software to do is that we can get the software to do what's called a transfer function. And basically this is just a comparison. What happened to the sound? We sent the raw sound straight from the mixer into the sound card. And how was it different by the time it got through the speakers and picked up by the microphone? Direct sound from the mixer straight into the sound card. This is raw, unaffected pink noise. And then the pink noise is going to come out of the speakers, into the microphone and into the sound card. And both of these versions of the sound will be fed into our software. Our software is then going to tell us the difference between these two sounds. By knowing the difference between these two sounds, we can say how the speakers and the room are affecting the sound. And that allows us to make EQ decisions about the sound. So how do we set this up? Let's just get our laptop out, get our sound card connected to our laptop, and connect our microphone to input 1 of our sound card. Make sure you turn phantom power on. If your microphone needs that, it probably will. Now we need to get a pink noise generator on the mixer, and we need to get that into the speakers, but also into the sound card. So I'm going to head to the monitor section of our mixer. I'm going to select the noise generator, the signal generator, and I'm going to select pink noise. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that just to one of my mix buses, one of my aux buses, whatever it's called on your mixer. So I'm going to start sending the pink noise to that bus. Then I'm going to select that bus and I'm going to, one, make sure that I know what output it is routed out of on the back of this mixer. I'm going to connect the output of that bus. So the one I've used here is mix bus 6. It's coming out of XLR output 6 on the back of my mixer. I'm going to take a cable and connect output 6 on the back of my mixer into input 2 of my sound card. So now I have a microphone connected to input 1 and I have a pink noise generator connected to input 2. The last thing that I need to do is I need to get this sound out of the speakers, don't I? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my bus and I'm going to make sure to send it to the main mix, to the left, right. And by doing that, I'm able to use my master fader to turn up the pink noise in my system and hear it with my microphone. So I'm using my bus to send a sort of monitor mix, shall we say, which is just pink noise, and it's going straight into input 2. I'm then sending the bus to the main left-right, which is connected to my speakers. That allows me to send the noise out of the system and measure it with my microphone, which is then connected to input 1 of the system. You follow me here? So now that we're all connected up, we're ready to verify that our system works. Before you do any measurement, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your system is performing as expected, right? Send pink noise out of every single speaker one by one before you start measuring anything. And just have a listen to it. You want to make sure that the subs are on and producing sound. You want to make sure that left is left and right is right. And you want to make sure that all of your monitor speakers are also connected and ready to go. That's just good practice, and it's the most important thing to do before you even think about using software to EQ your system. Next, you want to go to your software and you want to look at your input channels, right? You want to make sure that your microphone is actually picking up the full spectrum of sound. You want to make sure there's nothing weird happened, like it's not cut off above 10K or anything strange like that. The second thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your second channel, which is receiving the pink noise, is also receiving a full unadulterated pink noise signal. So that should be pretty even across the whole spectrum. Now it's time for a measurement, and we need to create a transfer function. And we need to set our microphone as input 1 and the mixer generated pink noise going straight into the sound card as input 2. After we've done that, we're going to first verify that our speakers that we're measuring are performing as expected. So we're going to get our microphone, we're going to set it up pretty close to our speakers, say 1 meter away, and we are going to start sending pink noise out of our system. I forgot to say when recording this, but it's really important that you remember to pan this signal generator either entirely to the left or entirely to the right. You only want the white noise to be coming out of one side of the PA at the time. Otherwise, you're measuring the combination of the two sounds at the point where your microphone is, instead of just how that one speaker is reacting in the room. So select that mix that your signal generator is going to, get the pan dial, pan it all the way to the left or all the way to the right. We need to look at our transfer function measurement and make sure that we are receiving roughly equal gain in our microphone-based pink noise and our generator-based pink noise, so inputs 1 and 2. And then we're going to press a key which allows us to activate delay compensation, because there's a slight difference in timing, isn't there? The time it takes the sound to come from the speaker and go to the microphone needs to be accounted for. So every time you take a measurement, you need to double check this delay and recalculate the delay between the two signals. So after you take this first measurement, you need to save it. Now we can have a look at our transfer function measurement, and what do we see? So what does this tell us? All this tells us right now is how the speaker sounds 1 meter in front of the speaker, but allows us to look for problem areas like, is there a sort of crazy amount of high end or low end? Is something cut off? If, for example, you had nothing above 2 kilohertz, it's quite likely that your high frequency driver is blown. Alternatively, if you look up, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move our microphone sort of to the middle of the listening area where the speaker is projecting directly at the listener. We're going to go back, turn our pink noise on, and we're going to double check the delay compensation, and then we're going to take another measurement, and we're going to save that measurement as well. Then we're going to grab our microphone and move further back into the listening area, right to the sort of back edge of the listening area, and we're going to turn the pink noise generator on again, delay compensate one more time, and then save that measurement. So we've taken some basic measurements. Now we can have a look at how we can use these measurements to influence our EQ decisions. If we look down at this magnitude trace, what it shows us is the difference in magnitude, the difference in volume across all the frequencies between these two signals. So essentially it shows us how uneven the speaker is. If both sources were the same, right, this would be a flat line and we would see nothing. But what we actually see is a big drop off on the low end and a bit of a bump in the high end. Let's look first at our close up measurement. We are looking just at the performance of the speaker at this sort of range, right? And so we're looking for any big problems. Like if you happen to see that 2 kilohertz and up was completely missing from your magnitude trace, then you would know that you had a blown high frequency driver. Similarly, if there was nothing below 2 kilohertz, you would know that you had a blown low frequency driver. Here we can see there's a bit of a problem in the phase, but we're not going to talk about that. We'll leave phase for another video. Before we make any EQ moves, we need to decide two things, right? How does the sound change across the room? Because these measurements only show us what the sound is like in one location. And two, what do we want the sound to sound like? So first of all, let's just have a look at the 3 different measurements that we've taken. So let's look at how the sound changes throughout the room. Are there more high frequencies up front? Are there more low frequencies up front? Are there any dips or things that occur at some point in the room? We can just get a picture of that by looking at these measurements. And now the second question of what should it sound like. For that, we're going to use what is called a target trace. I've got one here that I think I got from Nathan Lively's website. It might have been Michael Curtis's website. I'll leave a link to that down below. You can grab it if you want. But basically, this is just a template that you can drag in to your software and see what one person's idea of a nice sounding sound system was. So this is just something to aim for to get started. So I'm going to drop that here, and you'll see that there is a bit of a bump in the bass end and a bit of a cut at the high end. And that's sort of what people perceive to be nice sound. So let's aim for that. And the more experience you get, you can adjust this yourself. So we can just make sure that this trace is sitting about the same level as our measurements. And we can move our microphone back into the middle of the room. Keep in mind the differences between the front and the back, and then turn our noise generator on again. We do the delay compensation to make sure that our measurement is valid. And then we just head to our master bus and we turn on our EQ. And then we can look at this trace that we've got on our computer, identify the problem areas, and then make any boosts or cuts that we need to make until our current measurement sits a little more in line with our target trace measurement. I decided to show you in this particular venue because it sounds dreadful, and you can see some of the EQ that I have to do to make this room sound more even. After you've applied the EQ, there's one last step that you need to take, and that is you need to walk the room and listen to music that you know on the system. Just because something looks great on a target trace on software does not mean that it sounds great in the real world. And so you still need to use your ears to verify that everything is working as you expect it to. I realise I might have given you more questions than answers in this because it wasn't particularly detailed, but the idea is to get you started. Probably the only thing that you actually need to buy is this measurement microphone. So I want you to get a measurement microphone. I want you to go out and I want you to measure the first system that you come across. Just go into work early that day and take a measurement. And you know what? If you don't understand it or you end up messing it up and the system sounds terrible, that's fine. Just reset the EQ and do it again with your ears. You're going to be fine. But you need to start doing this now if you want to develop this skill. I'll leave some other videos around here that can be helpful for setting up systems and tuning systems. But for now, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.